Look, if you just take a glance at this smartphone, you'd say, okay, it's just your average mid-range phone, nothing special. But then you start looking at the specs, and that's where things get interesting. It's got a 7,000 milliamp hour battery, a 200 megapixel camera, a super bright display, and next level AI features. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, is this really mid-range, or is it basically a flagship, just cheaper? This is the Honor 600 Pro. And now we're going to take a good look at what this device is all about. Hey everyone, Mike here. And today, I'm not just doing a review for the sake of a review. I'm just going to break down this smartphone by the facts, show you what's actually cool, what's just marketing, and what's actually useful. Because there are so many smartphones on the market right now, and most of them look exactly the same. And if you don't know your stuff, it's easy to overpay or, on the flip side, end up with something weak. So let's take our time and go through everything. Design, display, cameras, performance, battery, AI features. And at the end, we'll wrap it up with a solid conclusion. So get comfortable and give this video a like. Let's go. Let's start with what's in the box. It's as simple as it gets. In the box, you've got the phone itself, a USB-C cable, and a SIM tool. In some regions, you might get a charger, but that's not always standard these days. And here's the important thing to realize. What's in the box doesn't really tell you anything about the quality of the device anymore because brands might skimp on the packaging while still putting a powerhouse inside. What about the colors? White, black, and the high-end orange. And the white version looks incredibly clean, without any unnecessary visual clutter. Now for the design, and things get interesting here. On one hand, you can tell the design was inspired by other devices. And if you're a tech enthusiast, you're definitely going to notice that. But on the other hand, in everyday life, it doesn't really matter, because what's more important is how the phone feels in your hand. It has a matte finish, so almost no fingerprints, and an aluminum frame. The phone is thin at 7.8 millimeters. It weighs about 200 grams. That's a pretty comfortable weight. And another key point is the protection. It's got IP68, IP69, and IP69K ratings. That means protection against water pressure, jets, and dust. And that makes it a really practical feature. Now, the screen. And there's actually a lot to talk about here, because the screen is what you're interacting with every single day. It's an AMOLED, 120 Hz, with high pixel density. But the main thing is the bezels. They're less than 1 millimeter on all sides, and that makes the screen look visually clean. It looks almost like one continuous surface. Now for the brightness, up to 8,000 nits. Yes, those are peak values, but it's a very high indicator. This means that in the sun, the screen will be easily readable. And another important point is eye comfort. There's a high PWM frequency here and low minimum brightness. This is important if you use the phone at night. You won't be straining your eyes as much. Now the cameras. And here's a classic story. Lots of megapixels, lots of modules, but it's important to understand how it works in reality. The front camera is 50 megapixels. This provides good detail. Now for the rear cameras. 200 megapixels for the main sensor, 12 megapixels for the ultra-wide, and 50 megapixels for the periscope. Let's start with the ultra-wide. It has autofocus, which means it can also function as a macro lens. And that's really convenient, because separate macro cameras are often useless. Now the main sensor. It's large. This means better light sensitivity and better night shooting. Now for the zoom. There's an optical zoom of about 3.5x, and then AI takes over. And here it's important to understand. AI zoom isn't a real magnification, it's image processing. Up to a certain level, it's a pretty good result. Beyond that, it depends on the scene. But for everyday use, this is more than enough. Now AI, the whole market is moving in this direction, but not everyone is doing it right. There are image to video 2.0 features here. What does that mean? You take an image, set the parameters, and the system creates a video. You can set the start, you can set the end. AI creates everything in between. And this already looks like a tool rather than a toy. There's also photo editing via text, settings management, and protection against fake voices. And these are real features that can actually be useful. Now for the performance. It uses the Snapdragon 8 Elite. It's a powerful processor, plus up to 16 gigabytes of memory. This means stable operation, decent performance in games, and good multitasking. And that's already a level above the mid-range segment. Now, the battery. And this is where its real strength lies. Up to 7,000 milliamp hours. Even if you take 6,400, that's still a lot. This means long battery life, less dependence on charging, plus fast charging, wireless charging, and reverse charging. You can charge other devices, which makes the smartphone more versatile. Now for the conclusion. The Honor 200 Pro isn't just another smartphone. It's an attempt to make a device with flagship features at a mid-range price. It has a powerful processor, a great screen, a large battery, and modern AI features. Spec-wise, it's a very strong contender, but the actual experience depends on how you use it and what matters most to you. Let me know in the comments what you think about this smartphone. It's interesting to see different perspectives. If this video was helpful, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. This has been Mike. See you in the next videos.